Good morning. Welcome to the Windsor Star News Cafe. I'm Don McArthur here with Dylan Kristy and our special guest, Kieran McKenzie.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're running in Ward 9.
Yes, I am.
What are you hearing out on the street?
Well, thanks for asking, and thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate that. You guys have been doing a great job with this, by the way, and I think a lot of the voters really do appreciate the fact that you guys are taking the time to introduce all of the candidates to the community. So with that, what am I hearing on the doorstep? It's the oft-repeated mantra: infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. But in Ward 9, there's specific infrastructure concerns. We've seen a tremendous amount of growth in Ward 9 over the last number of years. Even as Windsor's population has declined, Ward 9's been growing. So think about the east part of South Windsor. Places like Walkergate, that area has gone up tremendously over the last few years. 10 years ago, just on the commercial side of things, the whole big box development just south of Cabana Road off of Walker, that wasn't there before. So what that's done is it's brought a lot of traffic into South Windsor and into Ward 9 particularly. Every single major artery in Ward 9, Cabana, Walker, Provincial, and Howard, the main arteries there are extremely congested with traffic. And it's a function of us seeing actually a tremendous amount of growth in that part of the city, even over the last few years. It's fair to say that Windsor's been in a down economy. So people can't get from one place to another. Yet people continue to move out into that part of the city because I think the main attraction for Ward 9, that's again the the east part of South Windsor, is we're close to a lot of amenities. Close to the mall, close to the Walker Road shopping district. There's some great schools out there. So there's a lot of great reasons to be out in that part of the city. People are recognizing that in increasing numbers. So we've fallen behind, unfortunately, with respect to improving the roadways that can get people from one place to the other. So, and what that's doing is it's pushing a lot of traffic into the neighborhoods. Okay. That's the real scary part, in my opinion. You go down roads like, I've been canvassing in the part, I call it the airport strip. It's just off of Walker Road. So Turner, Byng, Bliss, those roads just west of Walker Road. And those roads are being used now as a main thoroughfare. It's incredible the level of traffic. And if you've been down those roads, if you're familiar with those streets, they're very narrow, no sidewalks, ditches on both sides because they don't have proper storm sewers down those streets for the most part. And also there aren't streetlights on a lot of the blocks. Okay. So you see heavy traffic on residential roads because people are looking for shortcuts to get off of those main arteries that are too congested.
So it sounds like you're focusing mostly on the basics, focusing on the traffic congestion, the infrastructure in the streets. Yeah. Is there a real identity of Ward 9 other than, say, airport and the commercial areas? And is that something that you think you should kind of try and foster and keep with going? Or is there another direction that you'd like to see the ward take?
Well, okay, so I think one of the main identities that of Ward 9 is that we are Roseland. You know, a good chunk of it's actually the Pole 5 is a good chunk of that was referred to as the Roseland area. That certainly does form part of our identity. But as I said, there's been a tremendous amount of growth out there. So I think that part of what's happening, there's a maturation process that's happening in Ward 9. Walkergate, the area around Talbot Trail School, for example, there's that area is blown up and is continuing to blow up. So I think it's fair to say that there certainly are parts of the ward that are still defining themselves. But we do have I think a deep connection to our past in the fact that that was a part of South Windsor, or that part of Windsor is where we first started experiencing real growth. And it turned into a really beautiful part of the city. I mean, Don, I know we were just talking off camera about golf, and Roseland Golf Course, owned by the city. Of course, it's in Ward 1, technically speaking, but that whole area was built around that jewel. And I still think that I still look at Roseland Golf Course and that Roseland area as sort of that's our anchor, at least with respect to who we are in terms of the identity of the region. But we're definitely growing, and there's some other beautiful amenities that are out there. The Devonwood Conservation Area, for example, I think is an area that people don't really that's underloved. I think in some respects, people don't understand what we have. We have an urban forest, in the middle of the city, and that's a really special place, and something I think going forward, I'd love to see us look at different ways where we could. I don't think it needs to be enhanced because it's beautiful the way it is. I just think I'd love for more people to understand that it's there and to take advantage of what's going on out there.
Excellent.
Okay, so you're very politically active,
Yes.
right? I'm not sure if you still are, but Brian Massey's constituency legislative assistant.
I still do work in the office. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, of course, Rose City Politics, the podcast.
Yeah.
With Paul Sinnott, Pat Papadeus, some others.
Reno Borderland running in
Reno
Ward
Borderland
3.
running in Ward 3.
Can you forget? Yeah.
Exactly. But you've always been on that, I would think, the voice from the left. I don't know if you're a card-carrying NDP member, but you work for Massey, so you're the voice from the left. How important is it to get a voice from the left on council, and can you separate sort of those broader political views, like with the NDP, from your work on behalf of constituents in Ward 9, should you get in?
Well, absolutely, and that's a great question. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to address that. So yes, I certainly self-identify and readily identify myself as a progressive in this community, and I do think that. Frankly speaking, it's a voice that's been underrepresented. The progressive voice has been underrepresented on council. So I hope that I'm able to maybe correct that to a certain extent if I'm elected. So that's certainly something that I've thought about and hope that I'll be able to contribute in a way in which I'd be able to contribute. Now, with respect to my job and how that may impact my service on council if I'm in fact fortunate enough to be elected. The work that I've done in Brian's office for the last 10 years has given me all kinds of opportunities to meet a lot of the stakeholders in our community, and understand the various organizations, what they contribute to the community, what they do, maybe even in some respects what they might be able to do going forward. So I've been able to develop a lot of relationships across issue, ideological, and political fault lines that I think will serve me well if I'm given the opportunity to serve as a councillor. Also, working for an elected representative for the last 10 years, and somebody who I think obviously has been a tremendous leader in our community, has been I can't think of a greater opportunity to learn about what it takes to be an elected representative. And I've had an opportunity in that office. You mentioned the constituency and legislative work. The constituency work that I did for Brian is in the first 5 years that I was in his office is very analogous to the work that you would expect that your city councillor would do. And I've seen this in working with some of our councillors. The volume of calls that they get is tremendous. All kinds of different issues that constituents bring forward, and I've done that kind of work, that exact kind of work, just maybe with a more federal government focus over the last 5 years. I've dealt with hundreds cases involving employment insurance, Revenue Canada, any service or program that the federal government provides is something that's come across my desk at one point or another. Now I do more of the legislative work and political work, which is again incredibly or very analogous to the work that you would do as your city councillor. You're both a representative for your constituents, but you're also a legislator as a city councillor. And in that vein, I've done a lot of work. I've written private members legislation, for example, the invasive carp bill that Brian just tabled. That's my baby, and so I have experience doing that. I've worked in terms of preparing Brian for his committee work and speeches and bringing stakeholders together around issues. I am incredibly well prepared, in my opinion, to serve as a city councillor at this point.
Well, politics is clearly a big part of your life, but I think a lot of voters probably want someone who's not just immersed in politics. When you're not watching city council, involved with Brian Massey, what do you do for fun?
Well, so there's a few things. I'm a big sports fan. I mentioned golf already.
Well, the Lancers, right? Aren't you play-by-play?
Yeah, I do. I do sports broadcasting for the University of Windsor. TV Cogeco. I've been the voice of the Lancer football broadcast for the last 2 seasons. Prior to that, we were doing it on CJAM. For about 6 or 7 seasons. I'll give a shout out to my broadcast partner Craig Poole, who is holding down the fort for me this season. I'm unfortunately not available to do it this year because of what I'm doing.
Banging on doors.
Yeah, exactly. The Lancer basketball as well. I've been involved with that, and also I've been a local basketball official. For those of you that might recognize me from on the court, please don't hold that against me. What happens on the court stays on the court. But I've been a referee now for 15 years, and that's to me, that's one of the most rewarding experiences that I've had. Frankly speaking, across all of the things that I've done, I really love to officiate basketball games. So yeah, there's a whole range of things that I enjoy doing outside of politics.
Which are probably skills that would come in handy in the council chambers as well.
Refereeing,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
No question. People skills, interpersonals, management of, and also, the decision making. Frankly speaking, you make you have to make categorical decisions and be confident that those are the decisions that those are the correct decisions. Have confidence that you made the right call, and certainly I think that having that kind of experience certainly would contribute to me being able to be an effective counselor as well.
Okay, you're a family man as well. You got a daughter, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
don't get me all choked up.
Okay, well, I have one too. That's why I've got a soft spot for dads with daughters.
Yeah, 2 years old, 20 months old now. So she's closing in on 2 years, and this age is all of the ages are amazing. It's just I'm in the moment now, and even this morning when she wakes up, she's a little bit upset waking up in her bedroom, and I show up, and the big smile.
Well, say hi to her. She's gonna see this.
Hi, Liv. Dada's here. Yeah.
Okay, and hi, Violet. I'm gonna say hi to my daughter too.
Okay.
Okay, Dylan.
I've got nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Listen, great. So you're going up against 5 other candidates in Ward 9. It's a big race. Hillary Payne is the incumbent. Why you?
Okay, well, appreciate that. Another good question. Great opportunity there. Thanks. So why me? Again, I think I talked about the experience that I have. If I were to be elected, I would be somebody that could walk into the job. There wouldn't be a steep learning curve. I've brought issues forward to council. I've worked with the administration and city councilors on numerous issues. I understand who the stakeholders are in our community. They know who I am. And I think I can be effective in that regard in terms of working with all of the people who I would have to work with, and understanding the role and the opportunities that you have as a councillor to move public policy forward. I think I'm I've been over the years a very committed community person. I'm involved in a range of different things, as we talked about here today. So even beyond just sort of the political world, I'm connected to a lot of people and a lot of different things across the community that I think hopefully will bring more people into participating in our local government. And that's been another issue that I've worked on very hard over the years. You guys, I'll jog your memory a little bit. I think you remember that I was very active, for example, on the Ward 7 by-election issue, and also I was strongly opposed to the outsourcing of the Auditor General functions, and I brought those issues forward to council. And the reason I was so active on both of those files, that I think that it comes down to governance and openness, and what I'd like to be able to do, and I think that it's something that I've managed to do over the years in my various roles, is to be somebody who's open and approachable. And I'd like for people to think about their civic government as being both open and approachable as well, because I think that's the best way forward for us to address the issues that our community is facing, inclusive. And I think that we can do better in that regard, and I would definitely be working to make that happen.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. Well, Kieran, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
This has been Trail Talk.